let's turn our attention to someone who's, well, really not having the greatest week, and that is Fraser Longden. He is the Chief Operating Officer, the COO of Wickes, the DIY giant. I've spent rather a lot of money in Wickes over the years, but they are facing a boycott campaign. Glad to be a part of it, I am. And a tumbling share price after he said that they're shoppers with trans-critical views, i.e. if you think that men don't automatically become women because they put on a dress, really that basic, you don't think that trans women are women, those shoppers are bigots who are not welcome in our stores anyway. Well, where were these remarks made? Well, in an online debate and conference which was put online by Pink News. Strange reason, though, not easily available and now removed from the internet after it was highlighted by my next guest, James Esses. He's a commentator. He's also co-founder of Thoughtful Therapist and joins us. Good morning to you, James.
Morning, Julia.
You have been what I believe the woke crew call something of a wonderful ally on this issue to women, but also to children who have been facing this onslaught of trans ideology and activism, talking them into all believing that they've all been born in the wrong body and need to have drugs and their bodies mutilated to be happy. I mean, really, really scary stuff that's going on. And it is extraordinary how many, you know, just business leaders and people just in positions who just should be just, you know, your job is to sell people taps and garden fences and drills. But no, for some reason, you're deciding to lecture people about what they should think about, you know, ideological issues like transgenderism. You uncovered this video of what Fraser Longden, the COO of Wickes, had to say. And his words were really quite extraordinary, weren't they?
Oh, they were absolutely abhorrent. And look, I sat through, for my sins, the entire 7-hour video. I mean, it sent me into a spiral of depression. I mean, it's quite awful what a lot of these big corporations are willing to say when they don't believe that anyone's going to see it, because at the end of the day, this was a private training event. They never anticipated that the video would be put out there. But I mean, yes, calling prospective customers bigots, and then the patronising tone. I mean, he suggested that up to 90% of the population are, quote, just slightly ignorant. And this is about, issues such as whether men should be able to use female toilets. I mean, it's absolutely abhorrent. And customers, as we have seen on social media, are already voting with their feet.
Yeah.
Boycott Wickes was trending as a hashtag. I've seen customers messaging Wickes saying that thousands of pounds they were planning on spending with them will no longer be spent. And, this is customers' rights if they're going to be treated this way by these...
Yeah, I mean, there's a quote from them saying basically, people might talk a good game, but basically if they need to buy a pot of paint, they'll go to the nearest DIY store. I've already passed this on to various people I know who are not remotely involved in campaigns in the media, but they are just people who don't want to be told they're a bigot for understanding basic, 101 biology. And they all, to a man and a woman, just said, well, I'll never shop there again. They were really clear. Here's what he had to say in total. He said, by the way, this event was sponsored by EY, formerly Ernst & Young, and a trans summit hosted by Pink News. Why there is a trans summit, I don't know. But Fraser Longden said, I don't think I'm ever going to change some of the bigots' minds. I'm never going to win that argument with them. So we are doing the Pride Float to show support to the community. It's all about Brighton Pride last year. He said, he said most of the population is in a sort of slightly ignorant but mostly kind position. And when he was told of the threat of a boycott, he said the other 10%, they're just hot air and they will go and buy a tin and paint in the nearest place to them. That might have been us before. It might not be us afterwards. And equally, if they do come in and buy a tin of paint and behave that way, they're not welcome in our stores anyway. I love what he means by behave that way. Generally, when I need to go and buy a tin of paint or a new ladder or a new tap or something, if I was going to a DIY shop, I don't go in and discuss my views on trans ideology with anyone in the store. I certainly don't go in with a flag or a placard. I just go, do you have what I need? Thanks very much for your help. Here's my money. Why do so many people in the business world feel the need to think that the part of their job is lecturing the public on their views, as opposed to making sure that people who work for their organisation, I would absolutely want that anyone who was gay or trans or any minority felt comfortable working at Wickes. That's an internal matter. There's nothing to do with the customers. Why do they think it's their job to lecture us when we want to buy a new drill?
Well, I think there's a few reasons. I mean, some of it is just mindless virtue signalling in pursuit of profit, because it's trendy to go along with this these days. Some of it is because of the hysteria that we've whipped up in society. You know, we've made holding beliefs that men are men and women are women akin to being evil. I mean, I saw Peter Tatchell, the long-standing LGBT campaigner, who said some very questionable things over recent years. Yeah. He said that this was no different to an employer saying to a customer, if you're a racist, you can't come in. And I mean, that's absolutely ludicrous to even attempt to make such a comparison.
But also, they talk about these views being people who hold, with J.K. Rowling, controversial views. They're not controversial. They're the majority viewpoint. And until 5 years ago, they were the only viewpoint.
Correct. And, you know, it wasn't entirely surprising to see Wickes' share price fall by about 4% on Friday. It'd be interesting to see what it does today. You're exactly right. The vast majority of the population in the UK and indeed across the world simply believe the truth, biological reality, which is that men are men, women are women. You know, Wickes' most recent Twitter post was an innocent poll asking what everyone's favourite type of bath was, and the top comment says a blood bath, which is exactly what Wickes are currently experiencing.
Well, and they bring it on themselves. Right. James Esses, thank you so much for finding this out, watching those 7 hours and exposing this. I know, you yourself, lost your degree course that you're a trainee child therapist because you were talking about these issues and your concerns for children. You've been an absolute hero on this, and thank you very much. Really, really quick word from James Hill on this. I mean, look, boycott Wickes is trending, and that's, they say they don't want my business. I'm happy not to give them my business. That's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gone public. Didn't want the comments out there, and now you've seen the share price being affected. Yeah. So many businesses seem to forget what their purpose is, which is making money.
Yeah, boss, just stop lecturing me on what I should think. I don't care what you think, but don't tell me what I should think, and don't tell me I'm a bigot because I know basic biology.
I want to see if they're going to apologise for this or back down.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's saying big Gerald Ratner moment. Absolutely. You lost my business for good.